30 minutes. Now think about that. For 25 years, the regime that looked like an iron fortress, Chavez built it, Maduro locked it down, and for a quarter of a century, the world called it untouchable. Then in the dark of the night on Friday, the United States military walks in and ends the whole thing in less time than it takes to watch a Netflix sitcom. Now the world's cheering. Venezuela has its future back, and America has this historic victory, which is phenomenal. But as the smoke begins to clear, you have to ask yourself, could this possibly be that we just witnessed something even bigger than a raid? Now, I want you to think about the context for a moment. Because just in October, Donald Trump sat in front of the press and told the world Maduro reached out to him. He said he offered everything. He said the guy doesn't want to F around with the U.S. Now, in another world, that's a headline, but in Trump's world, that's a spoiler for the season finale. Is it possible that the deal was already signed, sealed, and delivered months ago? Because here's the reality. A man like Maduro, a man who knows every single Mexican cartel and Colombian cartel drug route, every Chinese fentanyl shipment, and every terrorist contact in the hemisphere, he cannot just walk away with the suitcase in his hand. If he surrenders at an airport, his own generals are going to put a bullet in his head before he clears the tarmac. He needed a legend. He needed a story that said he was overwhelmed by an empire. Not that he sold out his partners for a safe house and witness protection, but the tales are really everywhere. Now, if you look at the history of these types of extractions, the U.S. took out Saddam Hussein from a hole in the ground. Did they take his wife with them? When SEAL Team 6 took out Osama bin Laden, did they extract his wives with him to face a U.S. court? And when El Chapo was captured, his wife was nowhere to be found. But yesterday, they extracted Maduro's wife, Celia Flores, right beside him. And you don't bring a wife on a high-stakes surgical strike unless the wife is a closing cost to a negotiation. That's not a capture. That could be seen as an evacuation. Now, General Raisin Kane tells us that they arrived with massive blowtorches ready to cut through steel in the safe rooms. They were prepared essentially for a siege. But the moment the doors opened, they didn't even need the torches. Kane said the targets came out and were compelled to surrender almost instantly. Now, does that sound like a man who was fighting to the death like Maduro said he was going to do, or a man who was basically waiting for his ride? And then there's Maduro's son, who was named in the indictment. Nicolásito, or who's considered to be the prince, right? He's at large. He's missing. Could it be the perfect narrative cover, a public manhunt to keep the world's eyes busy? Well, the kid is quietly moved through a back channel to join his parents in the Ultimate Witness Protection Program. Now, we may never know the truth behind the curtain, but whether those doors were forced or left unlocked, the result is an absolute masterpiece. The people of Venezuela are free. The U.S. just secured the intelligence goldmine of the century. And when the lights of Caracas on Friday night went out, the doors opened without a fight. But could it be that the man who wrote the book just gave the world a masterclass in the art of the deal?